Throughout human history, we have been obsessed with connection. We build bridges across seas, and tunnel beneath straits. We dream of a world without separation. But be careful what you wish for. What would happen if tomorrow, the seas surrounding all islands suddenly vanished? If Japan, the United Kingdom, or Indonesia were no longer islands, but completely fused to the mainland? Do you imagine this as the start of a magnificent era of trade? No. According to the logic of collapse, this would be the apocalypse of modern civilization. Welcome to the void logic. Today, we will construct a supercontinent of catastrophes. First, let us speak of the false sense of security we currently enjoy. Island nations survive thanks to what militaries call a natural moat. The sea is the greatest fortress wall. Look at the United Kingdom. Brexit will become a historical joke. When the English Channel turns into land, millions of refugees, tanks, and goods can simply walk from France to London. No navy can stop a land invasion. Britain loses the shield that protected them throughout both world wars. But that is not the most dangerous place. Look to Asia. Taiwan and China. The tension here is held back by a 180-kilometer strait. When that distance is filled with land, the natural barrier vanishes. No naval buffer zone, the border becomes direct. The risk of armed conflict will skyrocket to red alert. And Australia, the solitary fortress in the southern hemisphere, suddenly shares a land border with Indonesia and Papua New Guinea. Waves of free migration will swamp the social structure of these nations. The concept of the island frontier collapses, dragging the entire world order down with it. Do you think having land masses would make transportation easier? Wrong. This is the biggest paradox: land connection would kill the global economy. Currently, 90% of the world's goods travel by sea because it is cheap. A single ship can carry the equivalent cargo of 10,000 trucks. When the islands connect, the world's busiest seaports like Singapore, Rotterdam, or Hong Kong suddenly find themselves in the middle of nowhere, hundreds of kilometers from the new coastline. We cannot drive ships on land, and we also do not yet have roads on this new landmass. The new land that has risen from the seabed is weak ground, full of mud and salt, and it would take decades to build roads. The supply chain would instantly break. The prices of fuel, food, and electronic components would skyrocket. The phone you are holding might be worth a fortune due to the expensive cost of land transport. The world would plunge into a great recession worse than 1929. But the economy can recover, life cannot. Islands are like Earth's separate evolutionary laboratories. Because they are isolated, island animals are often gentle, slow, and unafraid of predators. When these land bridges appear, it signals the start of a biological massacre. Imagine superb predators from the continents, tigers, leopards, and, most terrifyingly, rats, feral cats, and fire ants, pouring into these promised lands. In New Zealand, flightless birds would become extinct within weeks. In Madagascar, the unique ecosystem would be wiped out by invasive species from Africa. The islands would no longer be tropical paradises, they would become bloody arenas of survival where native species stand no chance of winning. We are talking about the sixth great extinction, but at rocket speed. And yet, the final disaster comes from the sky. The ocean is the planet's thermostat. When the sea area shrinks and the land expands, we face the extreme, continental effect. Moist winds from the sea cannot blow deep into these gigantic supercontinents. The new land that rises from the seabed is essentially a massive salt flat. When it dries out, the wind will carry this salt dust everywhere, creating toxic salt storms that kill crops and freshwater sources. Summers will be scorching hot like a frying pan, and winters bone-chillingly cold. Vacation paradises like Hawaii or Bali will turn into barren desert lands where fresh water is more precious than gold. Ultimately, this scenario teaches us a bitter lesson: separation is sometimes necessary. The gaps between continents, the vast oceans, are not barriers, but but spaces for life to breathe, for diversity to exist, and for peace to be maintained. A world that is physically connected everywhere is a deadly world. If you were forced to choose a place to live in this harsh new world, would you pick the safe highlands or take a risk on the new salt-flat regions? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to The Void Logic to dissect the next crazy hypothesis with us. Thank you and see you next time.